All right, everybody. So just lay down on your mats, finding your nice little passive heart opener. So bringing your block or your pillow or your rolled up yoga mat or just something that you can place comfortably between your shoulder blades. Now, I'm just repeating a little bit now because I just hit record again. If it's a bit far down for your head down to the floor, then you might want to shift your prop a little bit further up so it's supporting your head as well. So the main area here is just to open up the heart and chest in a little passive heart opener. So while we're laying here, feel free to just let your ribs stick out, your legs, you can have them out to the side. Maybe you also want to bring the soles of your feet together and be in a little butterfly pose here as well. So this will just be extra for opening up the hips, but absolutely not necessary. Yeah. Now it's going to be focusing on opening our hearts today and working on strengthening, especially the posterior chain. So that means our hamstrings, our glutes, and our back muscles. All right, it's looking very nice, everyone. So you can go ahead and take a few deep breaths here for yourself, releasing the day, letting go of everything that's happened until now. Just releasing, letting go, and moving our awareness around ourselves, noticing our body, how we're feeling. Noticing what's going on the inside, any aches or pain that we want to be a little bit more gentle with today. Also becoming aware of our breath and how the body is breathing here. Maybe we can bring some consciousness, some awareness to our breathing as well, and start to take some slower, deeper, more expansive breaths. And if you'd like to set an intention for today's practice, a focus, then you can do that now. Beginning to connect with our internal locks, the bandhas, the root lock, the stomach lock, throat lock. Connecting with our ujjayi, just a couple of breaths here. And when you're ready to release this pose, I want you to be very careful and move very softly and be gentle, especially to your back here. So really engaging the core, the front, really on the bandha. And finding the easiest way up, so rolling over onto one of your sides. And then eventually making your way up to sitting, making sure that nothing here feels uncomfortable. Finding a nice comfortable position on your mat, bringing one or both of your hands to your heart, palms facing inwards. Maybe a slight drop of the head. Taking a moment here of gratitude for yourself, for your body, for your life. and for this moment. All right, yogis, when you're ready to move, we're going to come up to all fours for some cat-cow. Taking it in your own tempo here, hands under the shoulders, knees under your hips. You know what to do on the inhale, engaging the back, stretching the front. And on the exhale, engaging the front and opening, stretching the back. Feel that we're also engaging the arms, the hands, the inside of the thighs. We'll do 2 more breaths here. Feel free to roll the shoulders. And with your last exhale, we're going to bring the hands a little bit further forward, lifting the knees and finding our downward facing dog. Begin walking the feet, the knees, dancing with the hips. Roll the shoulders, the head, the neck, just doing what feels very nice for you here. Maybe pressing the heart towards the floor and then back up again. All right, so we're going to walk that right leg forwards between the hands. If it's too difficult to get through right here, then we can walk it to the outside of the mat. Yeah. Dropping that back knee, finding a little stretch here in the front of the thigh. So that'll be here. A little bit the top of the front thigh, but especially the hip. So maybe you're down here or coming up if that feels better for you. But engaging the stomach, pulling gently. All right, so we're pressing the hips backwards, trying to engage, stretch a little bit here at the back of the thigh or the hamstrings. So it's okay if your knee is a little bit bent, yeah, as long as you're feeling that stretch. But if this is okay, maybe you want to stretch a little bit more, flex that front foot. And here we can also alternate a little bit, so finding a little dynamic stretch here in the hamstring and maybe in the glutes in our butt as well. So rotating the knee and the toes out to the side. Okay. Coming forwards for our pigeon pose. Dropping that front leg. Remember, bend both knees. If that makes more sense for you, it's okay for your joints. Or finding the full version. Maybe a little heart opener here first. Opening up, extending, finding that length, and then making our way over. So here you can be static as well, just stay still. Or if you'd like to do it a little bit more dynamically, we can engage, find some more length. Maybe what we did last week as well. So opening up the arms to the one side, just for a little side stretch, and then walking back to the other side. We're not going to be here that long. We'll do 1 more breath. And releasing this pose, making our way back to downward dog. And then changing sides. Left leg is coming forwards. Dropping that back knee. Finding the stretch. Here as well, if you want to have some movement, then you can move the hips a little bit. Maybe even twisting towards the knee that's bent. We're really focusing on using the abdominals here and pulling in. All right, stretching the back. And rotating here, externally rotating the knee and the toes if you want to. All right, and releasing, finding our pigeon pose. Same thing, finding that variation that works for you. So just laying over, maybe do that little heart opener first. Find the extension and the engagement, and then folding over. When you find the pose, maybe walking the hands to one side, and then the other side. So here, this will be helping to create a little side stretch, but then we're also opening up a little bit more through the whole hip area. Last breath. And coming back to our downward facing. All right, when you're ready, you're gonna walk your hands back to your feet. So here it's gonna be a bit of the similar warm-up as we had last week as well. So we're folding over, taking a moment here in Uttanasana, opening up the back legs, finding that deep stretch. And then when you're ready, we have our fingertips on the floor, so helping for balance. On the inhale, bending both knees, sending the top of the head up to the ceiling. And then on a deep exhale, we're gonna fold all the way over, pulling ourselves into the thighs. 2 more here. Inhale, bending the knees, coming up. And exhale, folding over, top of the head to the floor. Last one. Inhale up. Maybe the fingers are coming up from the floor. And exhale, folding over. Very nice. Moving on to the hips. On the next inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Take a moment here. Bend your knees if you have to. What's important is that we're engaging the core and finding that length. And on the exhale, folding over. 2 more here. Inhale. Feel free to keep the fingers on the floor. Exhale, folding down. Beautiful, yogis. Last time. Inhale up. Exhale and down. And walking the hands all the way forward. Very nice. Pulling in the stomach, rolling through the spine, vertebrae after vertebrae, moving into a high plank. Now, if your wrists aren't ready for this, that's totally understandable. Then I want you to come down on your knees and find a modified plank. Holding the pose, pulling the hands and the feet, the knees towards each other, pulling in the stomach. Very nice. On the exhale, just gently lowering down. We're not coming back up again. So we're coming down to our low plank, holding for a moment. And then when you feel happy, laying down on your belly, shaking out the hips, preparing for our baby cobra. So a little bit of space between the legs, really connecting with the back body here. Yeah, so full focus. Pressing into the feet, lifting the knees, engaging the glutes, your butt, going into your back, lifting your head and the shoulders. Deep inhale and exhale, folding down, shaking the hips. 2 more times. Inhale, lifting up, finding that extension. And exhale. Oh, and down, shaking out the hips. Really enjoying the back bend here. Inhale. Maybe ask yourself, if you were going to do this movement here now and enjoy it, what would you do? And then just go ahead and do that. Exhale. And shaking out the hips. When you're ready, pressing back into our child's pose. Last breath. Making our way up to downward facing dog. And that can relate to pretty much our whole practice. If you were going to do your practice today and enjoy it, enjoy every moment of it, every movement, every breath, what would you do? And then just go ahead and do that. When you find your downward dog, focusing on the arms here, press the shoulders to the ears, rotate the biceps forwards, maybe look between your hands, or just drop the head and close your eyes. And then you're going to start to walk your feet forwards. Feel free to drop the hips here. Taking all the time you need. When we come forwards, it's Uttanasana, standing forward fold again. Maybe folding the arms this time, twisting from side to side, walking the knees. And dropping the hands. We're going to continue what we did at the back of the mat, but this time an option to make it a little bit more difficult. So maybe you want to place your hands on your hips or have them in front of your heart or lengthen the arms over your head. So here on the inhale, I'll show the more difficult one. On the inhale, we're coming up, same thing, chair pose. And on the exhale, we're going to fold over, sending the top of the head down between the feet, maybe grabbing a hold here. And inhale, coming up. So really drawing out those breaths as long as we can. Exhale, slow exhale, 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 exhale. Last one, inhale, coming up, finding that length. Beautiful, Maria. Exhale, folding down, down, down. Okay, moving the focus onto the hips. So have the slight bend in your knees if you need to. On the inhale here, right? Hands can be in front of us as well. Coming all the way up. Maybe a tiny little heart opener at the top. And on the exhale, pulling the front together to fold all the way down. And 2, coming up. Maybe this time try to keep your hips directly above your feet. Yeah? And exhale, folding forward. So here, if you see me, that I don't push my butt out backwards to fold forwards. Yeah? But if I bring them, have the hips further forwards, then it's much more challenging. Last time. Inhale, coming up. And exhale, coming down. Keep engaging the back body here, slowing the movement down, 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 down. Very nice, Maria. You just take your time, yeah? Folding over. All right, that's awesome. Moving into our yogi squat, malasana. So a little bit of space between the feet, rotating outwards, dropping the hips, sending the top of the head up. Same thing that we just did in our chair pose. Yeah, so maybe we're coming a little bit deeper down now because we're opening up a little bit more in the hips. And then we're also getting this little stretch in the inside of the thighs. The elbows can help, but try to make sure here that you don't just let the elbows do all the work. Yeah, because you can be really engaging your butt and building up some strength and then opening up the hips here. Pulling in the stomach, find that long spine. Final breath. Dropping the hands, exhale, folding over. Bending both of the knees, curving the spine, pulling in the stomach and rolling up. Feeling that strength in your whole body. Coming to standing. Take a moment for yourself and then just shake it out. So remember to take a break if you need it. Drink as much and as often as you need, but I'd recommend that you just drink small amounts, yeah, and don't drink too much. Or if you want to go like full Ashtangi style, then it is no drinking the entire class, drink before the class and after the class. And through the whole class, you keep your mouth closed, you keep your ujjayi breathing going and your bandhas activated, yeah, so that we constantly have that, that connection and that energy flowing through the body. It's not like a necessary thing, but that's like, it's an Ashtanga thing. Okay, so moving on to the flow, you guys, we're gonna have more of a kind of a workshop round the first time around, and we're gonna do about 3 rounds altogether, yeah? And then the last round, we'll put on some more like advanced versions of the poses. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions. So here, hands on the hips, pressing down. Feel free to keep a little bit of space between your legs to make it a little bit easier. Maybe even spread them a little bit and a slight external rotation with the toes and the knees, yeah? That'll feel even easier. So here we're moving into a upward salute and a slight back bend. So find the length down through the soles of the feet, up to the top of the head. And then here, begin with the neck, just a slight movement back, but then hold. Think your throat lock. Moving down to the top part of your back. Maybe then think of the front, that somebody's pulling your heart up towards the ceiling. And then moving down to the middle part of your back, maybe thinking somebody's pulling your ribs up to the ceiling. So maybe we have to push the hips a little bit further forwards here now, really engage the glutes, the hamstrings. Holding here for one more breath, maybe going a little bit deeper. See if you can include the front of your thighs, straightening out those knees. All right, now pulling the front together and folding gently forwards. Try to keep your hips over your feet, so don't send the butt out backwards. And taking a moment here for yourself, walking out those legs. Very nice, you guys. When you're ready, the left leg is coming back. Finding a deep lunge, dropping that back knee. So we're doing this here now so that we can have more focus in the back. We're going to do the exact same thing that we just did standing, but here when we have the back leg back, we're going to find this stretch on the front of the thigh as well, yeah? So we come up at the top, up to the top. You can support on your thigh or hands on your hips. So press down into that back leg, maybe pull the legs towards each other, find the length upwards and then start. Your head gazing up, your heart, your ribs, and then going further and further back. Here it's okay to start to release the stomach, and then if we get that little posterior tilt with our hips that we try to avoid when we're doing the stretch in the front of the thigh. Pull the shoulders back. Final breath. Beautiful, you guys. Releasing the pose, coming back, folding forwards, and then straightening that front knee into a relaxed pyramid pose here. Feel free to dance with the hips, pushing a little bit forwards and backwards. Very nice. We're going to walk the hands up to standing. It's okay to have a little bit of a bend in the knees if that feels better for the pressure. So here, pressing into the front foot. And then I want you to imagine pulling yourself forward as we bend the knee, and then we start to bend in the hip as well. So we're leaning as far forward as we can. And on the inhale, we're going to press ourselves slowly back up again. We'll do two more. So pull yourself forward, bend the knee, the front of the hip is pulling your torso over your thigh, and coming back up again. We'll do one more. So the hands can just be on the hips, and pull yourself forward, and pressing back up again. Beautiful. Okay, folding over, hands to the floor. So here, guys, we're going to do this a bit of a new transition, moving into our cow face. So we're going to twist towards the knee or the leg that's in front of us. So crossing the legs, and then we're going to try to come to sitting from here, and then stacking the knees. So this can be difficult. I can recommend that you straighten out the bottom leg, or sorry, the back leg, and then you just fold the one knee over. If this is too much for the hips, then you do the number 4 instead, yeah? So that we're here. So it's either here or both of the knees on top of each other. So take your time here now in this pose. So it's kind of like doing a double pigeon, right? Bring the feet closer and closer to your heels. Use your butt to externally rotate the inside of the thighs up. Yeah, careful, Hoga. This is intense. So if your hips aren't quite ready for it yet, then just take an extra moment, yeah? Totally fine. But then find a version of the pose that feels good for your hips today. And if you're ready, then you can start to fold over both of the knees. So here we're starting to prepare the legs and the hips for a pose that we're going to be working on in the last round. We'll do one more breath. Careful, Olga. Releasing the pose, coming back up. And then here, so super fancy footwork, yeah? We're gonna turn back to where we came from. So the leg that's on top, we're turning to the inside of that one. And then hopefully coming straight into our pyramid pose again. Or just come up to your mat and you should have the right leg in front of you. Okay, nice. Just stepping forwards with the back leg. So we're standing at the front of the mat, parallel feet. And then here, a little challenge for the balance. We're going to be doing a little sissy squat and then also working on some strength in the front of the thighs. So maybe you have your hands on the floor for support, or you can bring them up to your hips. What we're going to do is we're going to start to, as if we're sitting down in chair pose, but we're going to try to get all the way down with our knees to the floor. So you're lifting the heels, dropping down, try to engage your butt, straighten out the hips as we're slowly coming down. Yeah, beautiful. Ah, you guys did it, nice. So this one, it can be very challenging. You can always have a block or something to help you, yeah, that you can support coming down if the balance is a little bit of a challenge there. Okay, camel pose coming up, either on the balls of your feet or the tops of your feet, yogi's choice, but noticing that the ankles are going in or out. Same thing that we did before. Hands on the hips. You can support your lower back here if you want to. Find that length, the engagement, and then start your head. And then the shoulder blades. And the middle part of your back, going into your lower back, really engaging your butt, the hamstrings. Feel free to push your hips forwards and going into that deeper and deeper back bend. Also engaging the front thighs. 2 more breaths. All right, releasing the pose, folding gently forwards, finding our child's pose, taking a couple of deep breaths here. So just giving the back a little rest from these deep heart openers. 1 more. All right, guys, coming back up again. Now, super challenging, okay? We're gonna try to move slightly back through the sissy squat to get over. So if this doesn't work for you, then just send the legs forwards, yeah? To come to reverse tabletop. So coming up onto the balls and then find the balance and then just walking the hands backwards and then pressing up into a reverse tabletop. Yes, excellent. So of course, if you're forwards here and that's not working, then you just bring the legs around and then pressing up. So pull the stomach in, pressing the glutes, the hips up to the ceiling, opening the heart and chest, pulling the shoulder blades together. 1 more breath. Exhale, releasing the pose, rolling down onto our back, preparing for Setu Bandhasana. So here, finding the version that feels okay for you today, pressing the feet down, pulling the stomach in, press the hips up, maybe interlacing the fingers, shoulder blades together. So here, full focus in the back body, yeah? So really engaging, pulling together. You can also imagine here pulling your heels towards your hands. Very nice, final breath. Releasing the fingers, pulling in the stomach, rolling down vertebrae after vertebrae. When you come down, bring the knees to your chest, give yourself a great big hug, and maybe lifting your head as well. And then you can always rest your head in your hands. Okay, yogis, we're gonna roll up to sitting and vinyasa to standing, yeah? So just do it in your own tempo, spend as much time as you want or as little time as you want. Jumping back, you know what to do. Chaturanga, upward dog, down dog, and then coming up to standing. All right, very nice. So quick break, take something quick to drink if you need something to drink, or if you just feel like you're ready to continue, standing at the front of your mat. Any questions? Feel free to shout out any moments. Yeah, and then we'll do the other side. So all the same things we just did on the other side. So here, remember guys, if your back is getting tired, right, then a little bit of distance, maybe a little external rotation. So we're opening up the hips, and then we might have a little bit more more to go on in our back bends. Or bring the big toes together if you want to make it even more challenging. Feel free to keep your hands on your hips, or this time maybe bring the hands in front of your heart so we have a little bit more weight further up, and it'll be a little bit more challenging for the back. So press down, lengthen up, pulling in, and begin. Head, shoulder blades, the upper back, the lower back, or sorry, the middle of your back and then the lower back, engaging your glutes, pressing the hips forwards, coming deeper and deeper down, and holding. One more breath. Changing focus, front side of the body, pulling yourself back to standing, folding forwards. Keep the hips over the feet. And down to Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Beautiful, yogis. Taking a moment here. So sort of like in our child's pose, yeah, we're getting a little stretch for the back. So feel free to bend your knees as much as you need, walking them out. And make sure you're being very kind to yourself and kind to your body. This can be very intense doing a lot of heart openers. And it's often like muscles that we're not so used to engaging in this way as well. So it can end up being a bit much. If you get dizzy, if you need to take a break, then feel free to do that at any time. Yeah. Okay, yogis. Stepping back with the opposite leg. So right leg stepping back this time. The left leg is forward. Dropping that knee. Finding the same back bend as we just did standing. So coming up, supporting if you want to, or supporting on the hips. Keep the hips parallel. So here, right, what we usually do is we pull in the stomach and then we try to press the butt forwards, yeah, doing that anterior tilt. But here when we do the back bend, it's okay to drop that hip backwards. This will allow us to go deeper into the back bend, yeah? It's sort of like when we were standing and we were pressing the hips forward. So you can imagine that when you're going into the pose, if you feel like something is stopping you here. So find the length, head, shoulders, middle back, lower back. Take your time and really pull the back together. Use your glutes. Beautiful, Maria. Yes, Ila, very nice. Okay, last breath, you guys. Pulling the front together, coming back up, folding forwards. Take your time here. And then straightening the front leg, moving into our pyramid, and then just opening the hips and closing them a little bit. One more breath. Feel free to bend the knees a little bit, coming up with the torso. Hands on the hips. So really working the muscles in our thigh, particularly the front of the thigh here. So straightening up, holding the stomach. Press the front foot in and pull the heel towards you. So we're activating the back of the thigh as well. And then we're going to start bending the knee. The front of the hip is pulling the torso over, coming down as deep as you can. And then inhale, pressing, coming up. And two more. Pull yourself forward, folding over, straightening out that back leg, and coming up. Last one. And exhale, coming forwards. Balancing that front knee, stabilizing, and up. Yes, excellent, yogis. Folding forwards again. And then here we're going to go into that twist, yeah? So we begin with the toes, twist them to the long side of the mat, and then C. So drop the back knee, and then if it's possible, knees on top of each other. If this doesn't work, then just straighten out that back knee, and then come over. Yeah, so finding that cow face. Very nice. engaging the glutes, rotate the inside of the thigh up to the ceiling. You can use your hands here to give your legs a little bit of help. We have plenty of time, yeah? Very nice, and folding over when you feel like you're ready. So another variation of this, yeah, when you have just the one leg over. Another variation would be opening up here, number 4, or a regression would be here, sitting in this pose. Two more breaths, allowing yourself to sink even deeper. Okay, yogis, we're going to be releasing the pose, so coming back, adjusting how you need to, finding that pyramid pose with the left leg in front of us. Excellent. Stepping forward with the right leg, and then we're going to find that little modified sissy squat. So hands on the floor if you need to, or on a block or something beside us, or bring them up to your hips. Sitting down into a deep pose. Lifting up the heels, send the knees further and further forward. Maybe we can straighten. Oh, it's hard to look at you guys and do this. And straighten out, and then coming down without making a sound. Yes, nice, excellent. Okay, one more time here. Coming into our camel, so go through the motions, or if you want to, going into the full version of our camel to go a little bit deeper. So you grab your ankle, either the hands, the fingers on the outside or the inside. It's up to you, but whatever way you grab, you have to rotate and open the shoulders. So rotate the biceps outwards. Beautiful, Olga. So guys, pushing the hips forwards, going into the back body, pulling it together. If it's too much for your neck, then you can hold your head up, yeah? That's okay. Your head weighs like 8 kilos or something. It weighs a whole bunch. So when you're dropping it back, then it increases it and makes this pose incredibly difficult. Last breath. Folding over, finding your child's pose, taking a little breather here and resting. We'll give you 3 breaths here. 1. And 3. Coming back up again in your own tempo, we're going to find our reverse tabletop, yeah? So from here, again, just sitting down, swing the legs back, or coming up, finding that balance, and then bringing the hands, and then making our way back. Inhale, coming up. So here we're focusing mostly on our glutes, on our butt. So really press them together, sending the hips up. Opening the heart as well. Even more challenging, pulling the hands and the feet towards each other. Last breath. Exhale, dropping the hips, coming down. Rolling, pulling in the stomach. From here, finding our Setu Bandhasana. Pressing down, coming up. Maybe bring the hands together. If you want to here, when you find the full extension, the full version of the pose, then maybe you lift your heels slowly. Yeah, try to point as much as you can and then see what happens. Maybe you get a little bit more depth available into the pose, but make sure you're stabilizing the knees. So when we go up with the heels like this, one more breath, you guys, and then we can start to release. Then we're taking away some of the extension in the hip, yeah? So then the front of the hip isn't so much of a hinder anymore. So then it usually allows us to go into an even more deeper back bend. Coming down, Ila, Olga. Releasing the pose, give yourself a little hug. Okay, so when you're ready here, doing a full vinyasa or just coming back to standing. So depending on how you feel. Really exaggerating your upward facing dog here. Stay there for a few breaths. Very nice. Beautiful. Excellent, you guys. All right, so when you come to standing, take a moment here, just shaking up the body. Now our backs should be very warmed up. Yeah, our hips should be fairly ready for the next round. We're gonna do a few more advanced and then we're gonna just end up on the floor and then we'll have some time to do some really deep bridges, yeah? So I'll just wait for you guys. As soon as you're ready, come to the front of your mats and then we're doing the upward salute here with this deep back bend one more time. So placement of the feet, yeah, very difficult and challenging, easier, a lot easier. Hands here, easy. Hands here a little bit harder. And if you guys are super crazy and want to do crazy strength and you send the arms up, maybe try this version with wide legs and arms up, yeah? And then send, really elevate the shoulders. And then here you can lead with your fingers. So pressing in, hands back, maybe keep your head up, shoulders, middle back, lower back, press the hips forwards and keep going deeper and deeper. 3 more breaths here. 1, 2, and 3. Your bandhas, your ujjayi, folding forward, taking as much time as you want to, coming up, finding that extension, hips over the feet, bending the knees when you come to Uttanasana, getting that little stretch in your back. Nice, Maria, take your time, beautiful. Okay, you guys, so from here, stepping back with the left. So you're gonna drop the knee or you're gonna keep it up, yeah? So we drop the knee the first time, that makes it a lot easier. Or we keep the knee up, that makes it a lot more challenging. Coming up, even more challenging, deep hips, pull the legs towards each other. But remember, we're allowed to do that little tilt of the pelvis here, yeah? So we're coming up, upper body, keep going into that deeper, 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 deeper back bend, allowing the hips to tilt forwards. 3 more breaths. 2. You can send the arms over your head as well, or have them in front of your heart to go even deeper. And exhale, coming forwards, out of the pose, folding, stepping, and changing legs. Opposite leg, coming back. If it's too heavy, drop that knee, yeah? Get rid of the balance. So the balance, working on our balance right now isn't so important rather than going into those deep back bends. So from here, remember that little hip movement, yeah? Feel free to let it go. Coming up, this is even more challenging. Start, arms, up of the back, middle of the back, lower back. 2. Nice, Olga. Just keep adjusting. Find that placement where it makes more sense for you. Okay, releasing the pose, coming out and stepping forwards. Finding that little curve, walking out the feet. Okay. That little sissy squat, down to sitting. Take as much time as you want. So maybe the hands on the hips in front of the heart or even up above. Bending the knees, trying to find that extension in the hip and then dropping down. Wonderful. So we're going to do a couple of versions of camel here that are a little bit different. So starting, doesn't really matter what leg you choose to bring forwards first here, yeah? So choose just one leg that we're going to have on. The other leg we're going to bring up here in front of us. So it's kind of like a lunge, but we have the one leg down here. So now I just want you to have your hands on your hips And I just want you to do a little back bend. Just get a little feel here of what it's like having a smaller pose. Okay, nice. And then releasing, coming back up again. Now you're gonna take this front foot and then we're gonna put a little balance element in there. So you're bringing that foot on the same line as your knee. So this becomes a little bit more challenging. Nice. And then doing a little back bend as well. So here, feel the little back bend. Okay, how was that? And then coming back. And now I have one more variation of this. It's gonna bring this leg down to the floor, this knee down to the floor. So maybe you have a block or something to support yourself on, or the wall, or a little bench or something. But you have this one coming down. Maybe you just fold forwards as well. Now, the more, remember this pose, right? That we just did, the cow face. The more that we keep the knees together, it's going to be super, super difficult and challenging for the hips. So I can recommend here that you have space between your knees and go up on the balls, and then see if you can find a balance on your knees from here. Now take your time now, yeah, because this could be a lot for your hips. So adjust the legs how you need to. If your knees are on the same line, it's very challenging. If you bring that front knee out, then it becomes easier. Okay, so remember what we just did when we had the front foot out to the side versus the same line, and then, right? So find your variation, see if you can come up. If this feels okay to you, then find your camel pose from here. Hands, hands, or hands. And then moving into the deep back bend. Take your time. 3 breaths. 1. 2. 3. Gently releasing the pose. Very nice, you guys. Coming back, so just leaning forwards, taking out the leg, take a moment here, maybe a child's pose or just a hero pose for a few breaths. And then we're going to change sides. Okay. Anybody have any questions for this one? Is it okay? Yeah? Okay. So coming up, changing the sides. So I want you guys to go through the steps here, yeah? Go through the motions. So balls or top, yogi's choice, but bring just the one leg forward, yeah? The foot closer to the knee. Just get that little feeling. Okay, like a one-legged camel. All right? And then bring it, the foot in front of the knee. So I have much less balance. Do a little back bend. See how your hips feel. And then when you're ready, bringing that knee down. And then moving in from here. Hands, hands, or hands. Very nice. So when you're in this, we want to think of having that little posterior tilt here. So here we want to press our hips forwards. Very nice, taking your time. So do a few more breaths when you're in the pose. Take your time, Maria, we have loads of time here. When you get into it, do maybe like 3 or 4 breaths, something like that. Awesome. When you're finished, release the pose and finding your little rest. Child's pose or hero pose. Straighten the elbows, Maria. Yes. Length out through the fingers even more. Wonderful. Very nice. Great work. Woo! All right, now you guys learned a new awesome Instagram pose. Okay. Maria, just keep taking the break. Do what you need to do. Coming out here, guys, we're just going to make our way down onto our backs, and then we have a couple of rounds of Ylva Dhanurasana, yeah, of wheel pose or full bridge, if you'd like to. So just making your way down however you want to. Take your time here.
And then try to bring all the things that we just worked with, you know, all of these back bends. So the feet, the distance between each other, the rotation of the toes and the knees out to the side, the posterior or anterior tilt of the pelvis, and then where you're placing your hands. So it's the same thing here. If your hands are closer or further out and the elbows pointing straight up, yeah? So you guys know what to do. I don't need to show, so just like keep going on, or just take it in your own time.
Yes, very nice, Ela. Take your time. Yes. Awesome. So think of this idea of bringing the knees past the toes and sending the heart to the back wall, maybe lifting the heels, really just playing around with your back bend here. So these are all the things that we've been working on in this class today. Excellent, Maria. And if you want to, you can just do the modified bridge, Siddha Badasana. It doesn't need to be a full bridge. And if you're doing Siddha Badasana and you'd like to make this a little bit more challenging, you can do it unilaterally. So you can do one leg at a time. So then I would recommend that you bring your feet together and then try to lift up one heel and then maybe up to the toes and lift up the one foot entirely. So you're working just the one leg at a time. This makes it a lot more challenging, but then don't let your hips drop, then really push them up. Stay there for a little bit and then change legs and hold that and then bring them down. To make it even more challenging, then you take your arms away as well. Yeah, if you have your arms on the floor, then it becomes easier. If you're removing the upper arms on the floor, then it becomes much more challenging. Yeah. Yes, nice knees, Olga. Very nice. And so everybody else, yeah, doing your version of full wheel. So we'll do one more round here. When you're ready. Excellent. Great, Ela. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my gosh. Wow. Beautiful. You got it. Yes. Very nice, Maria. Awesome, Ela. I don't know if it's ever been that deep before. That was crazy high up. Yeah, that was really great. That was really cool. Okay, so when you're finished, come down, give yourself a little hug. We only have a few minutes left of the class, or about like seven minutes. We're just gonna do a little cool down here and make sure we have a little bit of time in our Shavasana. So when you're ready, rolling up to sitting, finding your Paschimottanasana, but not your Paschimottanasana to stretch the back legs, but to just find this little opposite stretch for our backs, yeah? So bend the knees, lay over, maybe even giving your thighs a hug and then using the weight of them to pull yourself forward. So you don't need to go into like a deep forward fold here. It's just to kind of adjust the body, or like what will be the word, like a nullstille. So to kind of zero out. All right, when you're ready, coming back down again. Finding our Supta Padangusthasana, soles of the feet down, knees are pointing up. One leg is coming up, grabbing behind, and then pulling down. So here it's okay too if we find that little extension in the lower back. So if the hips are coming up today, that's all right. If you want to go into that version as well with lifting the head to the knee, so we're strengthening a little bit the core, but also curving more the spine, then you can go ahead and do that. Also extra here, right? The more that we're engaging the quadriceps and straightening out the knee, the more intense stretch becomes. We can also think of engaging the front of the leg here, so really pulling those toes down. So that's going to be increasing the mobility in the ankle.
All right, releasing and changing sides when you're ready. Very nice. Two more breaths. Releasing on the next exhale, changing legs again, and we're doing that little number 4. So here to engage the hip, yeah? Press that knee away from you. So you're using your butt, yeah? Push that knee away. Flex the foot. So we're supporting the joints, and then we pull all of this towards us. Here, same thing, it's okay, yeah? Doing the opposite of what I usually say, if the butt lifts a little bit up from the mat. We can also use the one hand here to help to push that knee away, yeah? So in this pose, we have this opportunity to stretch and open up the glutes, our butt, but we also have an opportunity to strengthen, so working on mobility. All right, releasing the pose, changing sides. Take your time. Last breath. And releasing here, yogi's choice, spinal twist. So both knees down, maybe collecting the legs or straightening them out. Or if you want to have a much deeper, then you cross the legs over, the same that we did during the class. And then try to squeeze the legs here as we drop them down, pulling the stomach in. So this will be even deeper. Other arm out to the side, or both arms, and then gazing over the opposite side of where the knees are. And releasing, changing sides. And releasing the pose. Any final adjustments for Shavasana, then go ahead. If you need to do anything, put on more clothes, turn the lights down low. Or when you're ready, just straightening out the legs, arms out from the side. Releasing our bandhas or internal locks. Releasing the Ujjayi breath. Becoming aware of the weight of our entire body. And then just letting everything go. Releasing all the weight into the mat. Becoming more and more relaxed. Give you a couple of minutes here in silence.
start to move the body. Maybe taking a few deep breaths, stretching a little bit. When you're ready, you can roll over onto one of your sides. Finding the easiest way up to a comfortable sitting position. Just taking a brief moment here for ourselves, noticing, observing how we feel. Bring your hands together in front of our hearts. Bowing our heads, thanking each other for today. Namaste. Thank you very much, you guys. A couple minutes past 8, just so you know, if anybody needs to run, or feel free to stick around if you have any questions.